Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to take fascinating stories, complex topics, and really distill them down into the key nuggets of knowledge for you. And today, we are journeying into a pretty majestic world, the ancient Persian epics.
Hmm.
Our focus is a really dramatic, emotionally charged piece from the 12th century epic Darab, specifically the story of Homay and the birth of Darab. So our mission here, as always, is to pull out the most surprising facts, the deepest insights from this foundational text. And you'll find this story, even though it's centuries old, it's just packed with these universal themes, right?
Oh, okay.
Forbidden love, the incredible cost of power, a child's hidden destiny. If you love things like Game of Thrones or, Arthurian legends, this is going to feel very familiar in some ways.
He really taps into those same archetypes.
Exactly. So we're aiming to give you a bit of a shortcut to understanding why this story has lasted so long. Keep it engaging, maybe a touch of humor where appropriate.
It is remarkable, isn't it, how these ancient tales still grab us. The Darabnama itself, written by Abu Tahir Tarsusi, 12th century,
Yeah.
it really paints this picture of a sort of semi-mythical ancient Persia. You get echoes of the Sassanid era, that kind of grandeur.
Right.
And right in the middle of it is Homay. She's young, she's powerful, she's just taken the throne. And immediately she's thrown into this court that's just simmering with jealousy, with plots.
Yeah. That context is so important. So Homay is under pressure from day one. We're going to walk you through this chronologically, her secret love, the very dramatic birth of her son Darab, and then this just agonizing decision she has to make, a decision that really kickstarts this whole heroic journey. So let's dive in.
Okay, scene one. We opened in the Persian royal palace. You have to imagine this place just breathtaking.
Oh, yeah.
White marble halls, gold and turquoise everywhere, these lush gardens,
Yeah.
jasmine, pomegranates, shimmering pool.
You can almost hear the music, the lutes, the flutes. Exactly. But underneath all that surface beauty, there's this chill, right? Whispers, intrigue. It's Homay's coronation day.
And it's a huge moment. She's there, draped in turquoise, this gold crown, ascending the throne. Her father, King Bahman, he's just died. So she's inheriting this massive, probably quite restless empire. You feel the weight on her, but also you see the nobles. Their skeptical looks. They're sizing her up.
And then you've got the villain practically twirling his mustache, Zarin Kamar. This cunning vizier, long beard, sharp eyes.
Always lurking.
And he's there muttering, a young woman, she'll never hold Persia together, that kind of thing.
Classic undermining.
But Homay steps up. Her voice is described as commanding, steely. She vows to uphold her father's legacy, justice, glory. And then she makes this really strategic move. She declares she won't marry. How significant was that?
That was huge. I mean, incredibly significant for the time. By saying, I'm not marrying, she's basically blocking the most obvious path for a man to gain control over her or her reign.
Right, no king consort pulling the strings.
Exactly. It's not just asserting her power, it shows real political savvy. She's drawing a line saying, this throne is mine alone. It's quite a statement.
Okay, so from that very public, very tense scene, we shift. The atmosphere changes completely. We move to the quiet palace gardens at night. You can smell the jasmine, see the moonlight on the water.
Lovely contrast.
And this is where Homay finds some peace, right? Torn between being this powerful queen and just being human, vulnerable.
And it's here, in these quiet moments, that she meets Bahman Ardashir.
Ah, the love interest.
Yes, described as, dashing, noble, warm smile, fearless spirit. He apparently just captivates her.
And so begins this forbidden romance. Under the stars, right? Whispered promises near the fountains, maybe hands brushing near the pomegranate trees.
You get these very romantic, almost poetic images of flute playing softly in the background.
But it is forbidden. Why? Because if the court finds out...
Scandal. Utter scandal. It could completely unravel her authority, the stability she's trying to build.
So this isn't just personal. Her desire directly clashes with her duty as queen.
That's the core conflict, isn't it? Her personal life is absolutely a matter of state. Any vulnerability, especially romantic, can be weaponized by her enemies.
Like Zarin Kamar.
Precisely. It highlights that immense pressure on rulers, where even love becomes a political liability. It's a classic theme, but it feels very real here.
So fast forward a few months, another crisis hits, and this one is potentially even bigger. Homay realizes she's pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, imagine that feeling. It's like a dagger to her chest, the text suggests. She has to project strength, purity,
And meanwhile, Zarin Kamar's suspicions are growing.
Exactly. His sharp eyes are watching her. He starts spreading rumors, whispering doubts among the courtiers.
So the pressure is just mounting intensely.
Immensely. How does she even try to handle this?
Well, the text says she relies heavily on her loyal handmaiden, Marok. She's described as compassionate. Together they try to conceal it, flowing robes, avoiding public feasts, that sort of thing. But you get these scenes of Homay in her chambers at night, just wrestling with fear, whispering to Mark, if they find out, it's over.
And Marok is trying to soothe her, but this shadow of betrayal, of discovery, it just keeps getting bigger.
It's a great depiction of being trapped, isn't it?
Yeah.
Her most private secret could bring down everything she's fought for.
Which leads us to the absolute climax of this part of the story. Her pregnancy is nearing its end. She has this impossible choice: reveal the child, lose the throne, or protect her reign, but at a truly terrible cost.
The ultimate dilemma.
So in secret, in a hidden room, just Marok there with her, she gives birth, a healthy baby boy, and she names him Darab, which interestingly means keeper of the waters, or perhaps hope of Persia.
Oh, the irony.
Right. You can just feel her heart breaking as she looks at him.
And this is where it gets, as you said, really interesting, that act of sacrifice. It echoes so many myths, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Moses, Romulus, and Remus.
Totally.
So on a stormy night, it has to be a stormy night, of course.
Of course. Adds to the drama.
She wraps little Darab in silk, puts a royal pendant around his neck, a crucial detail later, and places him in a wooden basket.
And she takes him down to this raging river, waves crashing, mist swirling. It's all very atmospheric.
And she's weeping, whispering a prayer, maybe to Ahura Mazda, the Zoroastrian creator god, and then she lets the basket go into the current. Her cries are just swallowed by the river's roar.
It's just devastating. But it raises that huge question, doesn't it? What defines a queen's duty versus a mother's love? Is this purely selfless, or is there an element of self-preservation, of clinging to power?
It's complex. You could argue both ways. It is a sacrifice for the perceived good of the kingdom, perhaps, but it's also a way for her to maintain control. The story leaves it a bit ambiguous, which makes it powerful.
But the story doesn't end there, thankfully. There's a glimmer of hope. Miraculously, this basket, it doesn't sink.
Right. Fate intervenes, as it often does in these epics.
It drifts downriver through the wild waves and ends up caught in the reeds near a small village.
And who finds it?
A washerman and his wife. They're described as poor, kind, childless, and they've been longing for a child.
Perfect.
They find the basket, see the baby, and notice that royal pendant glinting in the morning light.
Do they realize who he is?
Not at all. They just see a baby needing care. They decide to name him Darab. The same name his mother gave him, but they have no idea. And they raise him in their humble little mud brick hut, not with palace grandeur, but with warmth, love, a crackling fire.
So this stark contrast is set up immediately. Royal blood, humble upbringing, nature versus nurture almost.
Exactly. Does his environment shape him completely, or is that royal destiny just waiting?
Biding its time.
And the text hints at the latter. Even as a young boy, apparently, Darab starts showing signs of unusual courage, intelligence.
Little hints of greatness to come.
Yeah, as if fate has already marked him. It sets the stage perfectly for his future adventures in the rest of the Darab-nama.
So it closes this chapter on a note of hope, despite the tragedy of his beginnings.
Absolutely. So stepping back from the narrative, this deep dive into Homay and Darab really shows the power of these ancient stories, doesn't it?
Definitely.
It weaves together these massive themes: duty, love, sacrifice, court politics, hidden destiny, so skillfully.
And the characters, their struggles, they feel incredibly human, even across all these centuries. That's why they stick with us, I think.
They really do. The pressures Homay faced, the choices she made, you can relate to the core human emotions there, even if the context is epic and royal.
Precisely. These fundamental dilemmas, power versus personal life, the consequences of secrets, they don't really change, do they? They just play out on different stages.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Thinking about Homay's agonizing choice and how it sets Darab's destiny in motion, it makes you wonder what kind of legacy is really built on sacrifice.
That's a deep question.
And also, how do those seemingly small, hidden decisions, like Homay's secret, like the washerman's kindness, how do they quietly end up shaping the monumental figures of tomorrow?
Yeah, the unseen forces, the quiet choices.
And maybe think about those forces potentially unfolding around you right now, shaping things in ways we might not even realize yet.